Now, our next speaker is Miss Norine Wong. She focuses on helping folks plan. And people don't plan to fail, but they do fail to plan. So it's really important. And she wants us to have a life where we can enjoy lots of choices and hopefully make the really good ones. And so please welcome Norine.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me. But one of the major reasons that I accepted this invitation was on behalf of some of my former clients and their families who had shared that had they known some of this information prior to a crisis situation occurring, then they would have made a more informed decision. How many of you folks know what you're going to have for dinner tonight, or who you're going to have dinner with, or where you're going to go for dinner? That confirms. So the majority of us are planners by nature. And so we plan for major life events, like whether we go to college, we purchase a house, whether we go on that cruise, or retirement. And some of us even plan for after we pass on, who we want to do our eulogy, whether we're going to be buried or whether we're going to be cremated, and where we would like to be scattered. But my focus today is on the 10 to 20 plus years prior to our passing on. It's called the fourth quarter of our lives. And no, I don't mean hospice. These are some of the major life events that may impact our independence. Hospitalization. If you're a caregiver and you're hospitalized, then who's going to take over your role of caregiving? Or how about falls? How many of you have fallen to the point where you require care and somebody in you had to have somebody help you with your activities of daily living, like cooking, shopping, cleaning, or even driving? Dementia. This is something that we can't plan for either. We don't know if we're going to exhibit any dementia behaviors. And spousal death, or the passing of a significant other. If this happens overnight, your whole life changes. The next day, everything is different. And the inability to care or maintain your household. So these are the things that we don't necessarily want to plan for, but my talk is going to be about what we can do with some information and make more proactive decisions. My next few slides are going to be focused on the lay of the land in the medical arena and long-term care options and the costs. So when you go into the hospital, you're admitted at what is called an acute level of care. At this level of care, you probably, get treated. Now, when your condition is stabilized, and it does not mean that you're back to the independent level you were prior to hospitalization, your level of care can be lowered to one of these multiple levels of care. The first one, at the skilled nursing facility level or SNF level of care, you probably are receiving some form of therapy, whether it's physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, wound care, or IV antibiotics. At this level of care, Medicare will cover the first through 20 days, and the 21st through 100th day, Medicare will cover a portion of that daily bill. And if you have a secondary insurance or a Medigap insurance, that will pick up the remaining balance. Now, say there's no more skill, but what happens is you're still fairly weak, you can't use the bathroom or ambulate on your own, then your level of care might be lowered to what is called the ICF, or Intermediate Care Facility level. At this level of care, no insurance covers except Medicaid, personal funds, or long-term care insurance. In the later 70s and early 80s, the majority of the patients that were waitlisted in acute care facilities were at this level of care. So what the state did in conjunction with a foundation was created what is called now the Foster Family Program. It served as an alternative residential setting for patients who are receiving Medicaid benefits in the community setting. So at this level of care, what happened was the state had a case management company. The case management company recruited the homes and trained the caregivers of these homes and provided the services of a social work and nurse case manager to oversee the well-being of the patients that were placed in these homes. Over the years, this foster family program now can accept one private paying patient. Now, say you're able to walk, or you're able to use the bathroom, or if you're in a wheelchair, you can transfer on your own. Then your level of care may be lowered to what is care home. Care home level, you still require the 24-hour supervision, whether it's because of medication management or some other need that you may have. There are two types of care homes in Hawaii, the type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is 5 beds, and type 2 are 5+ beds. Now, in the 90s, there were some of the private paying patients that didn't want to necessarily go to long-term care facilities because they're quite large. They wanted the more personal touch. So the state developed what is called the E-Arches, the expanded adult residential care homes. The type 1 care homes can have one room dedicated to a private paying patient, and the type 2s can have 2 and possibly more now. The thing was they had to have a private nurse case manager to oversee their well-being. And again, home is always an option, but we'll talk a little bit more as I go now. So let's run through this process. So say I fell in the bathroom, I broke my hip, and I fractured my right arm, and I'm right hand dominant. So I'm admitted to the acute care facility. I receive the treatment, and then they say, okay, you no longer need to be here at the acute level of care. But, I'm still unable to walk, and I'm still unable to use my hand, my right hand. So they lower my level of care to the skilled nursing level. Now, if I can tolerate at least 3 hours of intensive therapy, then the rehab hospital would be a viable option. The only thing is you must have a clear disposition because they won't place you. Okay, so say I can't tolerate 3 hours of therapy. That's too intense for me. So my other option, of course, home is always an option, but my other option is to go to a SNF, or skilled nursing facility. So if you know which facilities you would like to be transferred to, please make that known to the hospitalist, the nurse case manager for the hospital, or the social worker. Otherwise, the hospital is obligated to waitlist you at every single facility on the island. You would have to take that first bed that comes up. If you refuse to go to that facility, then the hospital will tell you that you'll be responsible for the cost of an acute care bed. Okay, so say after my therapy, I'm doing really well, so home is an option, so I'm going to go home. I would suggest that you talk with the physician to see if they can order home health care services for you. Because when you're in the acute care or the nursing home facility, you are learning to take the steps, which are average size steps. But some people's homes, the steps are quite large. They're concrete, and not every person's home has those side rails. So you would have to adjust. The home setting can be totally different from the nursing home or acute care setting. There are 2 disciplines that can open a case with a doctor's referral for home health. It's the physical therapist and the registered nurse. if you go home and realize that, okay, you know what, I can't cook. I thought I could, but I'm not able to cook or take a shower, then please have either that physical therapist or that nurse, home health nurse, ask the doctor for a referral for a social work service, for a social worker, because the Medicare insurance will cover social work services under the home health benefit. Okay, say I didn't progress as well as I wanted to. So now I no longer have any of the physical therapy or occupational therapy because my condition has been stabilized. They discharge the services, but I'm still not able to go home. I still can't get up and walk independently. So what they're going to do is they're going to lower my level of care to the ICF that we spoke of, the intermediate care level. At this level of care, I have the option of staying at that nursing home because most of the nursing homes in Hawaii have what is called swing beds. So after they finish servicing you at the skilled level, they can lower your level of care to ICF. And that cost can be like $332 plus a day. It depends on which nursing home you're at because they vary their daily rates. Okay, say then I opt to go to a foster family instead because the care of the foster family should be equivalent to the care of the nursing home. They're at the ICF level of care. That cost can be $4,000 plus a month. So that's a viable option, right? Now, say I wanted to instead go have my own, private room. So I wanted to go to an E-Arch. It starts at $6,000, so $6,000 to $10,000. Now, if I'm again able to walk, and use the bathroom on my own, but I just need that supervision because I'm not really up to par, then a care home would be an option for me to go to. Remember I said home is always an option, right? And it is. So again, after my skilled therapy, if I'm doing really well, then I can go home with no support. If I'm fortunate enough to have family members checking in on me or, friends or church members, then that'd be excellent too. But say I went home and I still required assistance, but I really want to go home. One of the things to get if you're living by yourself is a personal response system. It's like the Lifeline, for example. Only because you can set it up to either contact a family member or somebody who's readily accessible to you in case it goes off. It will trigger them first. Or you can directly set it up to go to an EMS system, the emergency medical system. And it's only as good as you wearing it, because if you don't wear it, which a lot of people don't do, it won't work at all. And it is waterproof, so you could take a shower with the Lifeline on. And for those of you who do not want to wear a pendant, it clips on your belt buckle. There's different forms now of the Lifeline. Okay, so the current Lifelines are so much better because they can sense the fall now. Not like when it first came out, where you have to press it. Yeah. So the logic now is much better than what it was when it first was developed. Say you want to stay in your home, but you can't cook your meals, or you need assistance with bathing and transportation to the doctor's office. So what you can do is contact the Elderly Affairs Division, and they have a list of resources which you can tap upon, and they will do the intake and link you up to the resources listed. The other thing is, if you come out from rehab, you might want to apply for a disabled person's parking permit, because that will allow you, as you transition and get stronger, to park in the disabled person's parking stall, which usually is closer to your destinations. If you reside with a family member and you're not safe by yourself at home, another option is to attend or go to an adult daycare or a day health program. The adult daycare program is you have to be able to use the bathroom on your own and ambulate on your own. And that's the cost difference, because adult daycare, they can help you. They can do more hands-on care, which is why there is a cost differentiation. Okay, private duty assistance. If you're home by yourself and you want to stay at home and not go or not tap upon any of these resources, then there are multiple private duty agencies in the state of Hawaii. What I would suggest is to interview some of these agencies while you can. Because some of the agencies can service different areas, where you live, geographical locations. Some of them have a requirement of 2, 3, or 4 hour minimum. Some of them can take you to and from your doctor's appointments, can provide transportations. And some of them, if you have a language of preference that you would like, your caregiver to speak, some of them have the capability to accommodate that request, while others don't. The cost can start at like $25 an hour, and it depends on what service you need. So it could be a little bit less if you just had a companion. But if you need somebody to help you with bathing and cooking and cleaning, then it's probably somebody at the home health aide level or CNA, certified nurses assistant level. The other option is CCRCs, or continuing care retirement centers. There are multiple different types of CCRCs here in Hawaii. Some you would purchase as real estate. Others, you buy into it and they will serve you your full lifespan. And others, you rent. So all of them, though, ideally you go in at an independent level, and you pay a monthly fee on top of that. If you require assistance, then initially you can purchase assistance a la carte. If you require more assistance, then they may transfer you to the assisted living section of their facility. And for the facilities that take care of you full spectrum, then if you require nursing care at the SNF level, they may transfer you to the SNF level side of their facility. For those facilities that do not have that option, then they are obligated to help you find an alternative residential setting. Okay, if you have financial means and you can pick and choose and pay for endless amount of services, then that's so wonderful. But I have to say the majority of us fall in the middle income range. So for myself, I really wanted to have a choice in where I wanted to go. So I purchased long-term care insurance. This is over 10 years ago. And at that time, there were many standalone long-term care insurances. If you look at the current trend, there are not too many standalone long-term care insurances anymore. And on top of that, they're combined with life insurances. The oldest person I saw that initiated long-term care insurance so far is 70 years of age. Now, if you purchase long-term care insurance, there are a couple things to look at. One, elimination period. What that means is the average elimination period is between 90 to 120 days. So if it's 90 days, from the day of, you're claimed as disabled, then on the 91st day, your benefit can start. or the 121st day. So for myself, I paid a little bit more, and I got a 60-day elimination period. Because I know on the average for skilled nursing, let's say I go to an SNF, then I get rehabilitation therapy 4 to 6 weeks. So I figure, okay, then I better shorten my elimination period day. The other thing is I purchased insurance that would cover me for 5 years. So before, the average, I guess, length of the life expectancy if you initiated your life insurance was 3 years. But now, due to modern medicine, it's 5 years. The other thing is you could purchase long-term care insurance for a lifetime, but it's quite costly. I started off with $8,000 a month, and I made sure that that cost would allow me to pay for somebody privately in my home or go to a facility of my choice. Some of the long-term care insurances will only allow you to go to a licensed facility. So I wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case for myself, because I would like the choice, the option. The other thing is, if you pay for long-term care insurance on a monthly basis, it's more costly than if you pay for it on an annual basis. I put in an inflation rider on mine, which is another added expense. But the reason being is I took it out, over 10 years ago, and I knew at that time the average cost of a care home was like $4,000. But now, every year, I have never seen the cost of a care home or nursing facility go down. So I put that inflation rider in, and now I just checked before I came here. My $8,000 coverage is now worth $12,000. Medicaid. So Medicaid is income and asset based, and a child is never responsible for a parent's medical bill, but a spouse is. So say you had a couple, and the wife is no longer able to care for the husband, so he ends up going to a nursing home, a long-term care facility. The spouse can remain in the house of residence and can keep up to $123,000 in assets right now. Now, say the spouse, the community spouse, the wife, did not work, and the husband, she was living off of the Social Security of the husband. And the state will do what is called an equalization so that she can maintain her independence in the community. So the next few slides I'm going to talk about is a tool that I discovered to put all my requests or the way I would like to live out my life together. It's called the planyourlifespan.org. Because I looked at the advanced care planning, right? I mean, I have my advanced care plan, but none of what I want to do, I could add on to that. So I was looking for something. I was jotting down notes, but nothing organized. Then I attended the American Society on Aging conference, and there was a session called Plan Your Lifespan, and I thought, that's something really interesting. So I attended that session, but there was one thing that resonated with me. It was, no one knows what their future health holds, which is so true, but everyone wants to have their voice heard throughout their lifespan. And that's exactly what I would like. They cover 5 categories: hospitalizations, falls, memory loss and Alzheimer's, talking to others, and finances. It's an online tool, but there is a paper base. You can print this and fill it in. All you do is sign in, and you can personalize your requests. So let's take the fall section. Each of the sections are very time-consuming because you really should think it through as to what your desires are, what your goals are. I would not suggest looking at it and trying to fill in everything in one sitting because you have to digest. Even if you're twins, your life plan might be different from your twins' life plan, which I have seen. So no two life plans are exactly alike. They cover, each of the sections has a video clips of people who have explained, what's gone on for them or their experience. Now, can I prevent a fall? For those of us who have fallen, we can't expect that the sidewalks are going to be fixed, and especially if we run around and, we don't pay attention. So if you've fallen, you know that you should be more aware of your surroundings when you walk and not rush around as much or not look at your cell phone and, trip. The other thing is to check our vision. That's a benefit for most insurances, to check your vision on an annual basis, because you'd be surprised how quickly a cataract can creep up in you. The other thing is exercise, strengthening exercise. So if you have fallen before, you also know about footwear. It's really critical to look at what you're wearing and where to go for supportive footwear. And medications. Some of the medications can cause drowsiness, so it depends on when your physician suggests you take it. You can work with your physicians and your pharmacists to see, they might not know your lifestyle. So you can share with them that, I take it in the morning as directed, but it makes me so tired. So then they can look at it and see if they can adjust when you take your medications. The other thing is your home setting. So, that little lip from one room to another, you might have a little lip. That can be very dangerous without even knowing it at night, to trip. Grab bars are a really good idea, but I would strongly suggest not to put them up yourself unless, you're fully aware of how to do it. They are different disciplines like physical therapists, occupational therapists, and builders that are CAP certified, certified aging in place. They undergo a special training, and they can be found on a website, and you plug in, it's a national website for this certification, and you plug in Hawaii, and you can contact them, interview them, and see if they can assess your home for aging in place. The sections, how can I find help at home? Well, the Northwestern Illinois people are working with our AAAs, or on Oahu, it's called the Elderly Affairs Division. They're working with them on linking up the resources available to us here in Hawaii. So what you would do is you would plug in your zip code, and it would pull up the resources depending on what you want, what resource you want in your area. That's being worked on as we speak. Long-term goals. If you're a very private person and you don't want people to come into your home, then the private duty option is not an option. Now, for myself, I would like to try to remain in my home for as long as possible. But if it came to a point where I no longer could, then I will look at other alternative options. But for myself, I have a dog, and I would like to be with my dog. So I probably am going to what is called a regenerative home. It's a new phase of homes coming out where you can age in place. So I probably place myself in one of those homes. If you work on a plan, it's really important to involve the people that are going to be a part of your plan instead of just putting their names in there, like caregiving. No matter how much you love somebody, 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week is really, really challenging without some outside support. And sometimes you think, oh, my children, I'll just pay them and they'll just be my caregiver. But not everybody is cut out to be a caregiver. So those are the kind of things, when you draw up your plan, you need to involve the people that are going to be a part of your plan and see if they agree. The other thing, it's so critical now to let your doctor know of your plan. In today's medical arena, the doctor is a partner. You are the best advocate for your own care, and the doctor will support your decision because, again, everybody's so different. So please make sure your doctor is aware of your desires. You can either email this to your physician and your friends and family, or you can print a copy and give it to them and print a copy for yourself. So again, we may not know what the future holds, but we can have a voice in it, and you can make the decisions by doing some of the research on your own while you can. This is truly a process, and it's dynamic, so it can change over the years, and you can always change it. If you change your plan, just like the Advanced Care Directive, what you need to do is just update it and make sure the people involved have an updated plan. So I task you to look at this website when you go home, planyourlifespan.org, and just to see if this is something that you would like to do. It was publicly made available in September 15, 2015. It's nationally available with links to the local resources. Our resources are as good as the resources through the AAAs, the Area Agency on Aging statewide. There is no cost, it's free to use, and it's a secure website. And again, if you do not want to use the computer, it is paper-based. You can print it and fill it out. I want to give special thanks to Vanessa Ramirez Zofeld and Dr. Lee Lindquist, who had introduced me to this tool and whose slides I'm using. So this concludes my presentation, and I'm open to any questions.